Hello, I'm Paula Corbin Swalin, voice instructor at the University of New Mexico, and I'm here on the occasion of this virtual World Voice Day celebration to talk to you about speaking and singing in masks. Now, it used to be that when we discussed singing in the mask, we were talking about the sound or the feelings we would get when we sang a resonant sound. Unfortunately, today, this is what we mean. If you've sung in a choir or had a rehearsal recently or a lesson and you've had to wear a mask, you know that singing in a mask is a steamy, hot, uncomfortable affair. We also know that COVID-19 is spread by droplets and aerosols, and that singing produces a high level of these droplets and aerosols, but that we can reduce those significantly by wearing a mask. So we're going to do our best to keep ourselves and others safe by wearing those masks until we're told we can do something different. The first thing that we'll do is we'll find a good mask for singing, something that fits well, that stays in place, and that doesn't leak. It's going to fit snugly around our nose, across our cheeks, and then under our chin. It'll sit away from our mouth and our lips. As we take our inhales, we don't want to get a mouthful of mask. It will help us to breathe easily, and it will also allow for movement so that when we articulate vowels and consonants, we'll have plenty of room to let our jaw and our lips make the moves they need to make in order to create good singing sounds. We also don't want to have to adjust our mask all the time because we know that putting hands on our mask is not good hygiene. It's unfortunate that singing in a mask actually reduces our volume and clarity. To illustrate this, I made a recording of a small phrase from Ivorgurney's Sleep. Using a spectrogram, I measured the volume and also the spectrographic acoustic information from that passage. Here we see the passage without a mask. This is with a cloth mask. Everything else is the same, the volume, the distance from the microphone, etc. But you can see that the recorded volume is drastically lower. And the consonants, these unvoiced consonants, have far less energy. I was quite surprised to find that when I used my resonant singing mask, that I didn't get much better response. The volume was slightly better, but the consonants were still lackluster. This reduction in volume and clarity especially affects those consonants. Whether speaking and singing, it's a factor. Here is the first strophe of that Ivorgurney Song spoken in a mask. Come, sleep, and with thy sweet deceiving, lock me in delight awhile. Let some pleasing dreams beguile all my fancies, that from thence I may feel an influence, all my powers of care bereaving. I did my best, but S's sound like THs, F's can sound like H's. It's really difficult to make those voiced and unvoiced consonants clear through the mask. So what can we do? A tip from one of my voice instructors with regard to the TH sound was to try retracting your tongue instead of blowing air over it. So we make a sound like this. It's more percussive and it does seem to project well. Another thing we can do with unvoiced consonants is to imagine an I vowel afterward. Of course, we're not going to actually voice that I or say it, but we're just imagining it to change the position of the inside of our mouth. So instead of f or s or we're going to say the more closed and higher tongue position emphasizes a different part of the acoustic spectrum when we make those consonant sounds. The other thing we can do is execute staccato consonants. So t, k, p, s can be exhausting. So why not a very crisp s? Our choir directors will love us for that. These efficient consonants will help us avoid the increased effort that working through that mask can inspire. Another thing we can do is simply allow ourselves more time to inhale. The fabric of our masks decrease the flow of air, so we just need more time. And then when we're singing, we can imagine that our sound is not getting stuck right there by our mouth, but that it is flowing across the air and it is moving out into space. We can imagine a big concert hall and that our sound is bouncing off the wall behind the seats at the very back of the auditorium. Warm up and practice in the mask, particularly if you have a concert or performance where you have to wear it. And if you'll be working all day in a noisy environment, consider using amplification. A headset microphone and a PA that you wear at your waist will help you a lot. Si canta come si parla. We sing just like we speak. So if you are straining to make yourself heard all day, that effort and strain will transfer right into your singing voice as you go into your practice sessions. Simply putting on a piece of cloth can cause us to get out of alignment. We're using our facial expressions differently. We're trying to reach out to people as we speak to them. And we can get our head and neck into a misaligned position. So periodically throughout the day, check for your head and neck alignment. And check that your jaw is opening easily. We want to allow for easy opening, taking frequent breaks to massage and check for motion. So the temporalis muscles, the masseter muscles, the digastric, and the stylo and mylohyoid muscles. They could all use a little massage. To sum up, we're going to find a comfortable and great fitting mask. You're going to strategize for efficiency and ease with your vocal production in that mask, and you're going to keep singing. On behalf of UNM's voice, choral, and opera faculty, I want to thank you and wish you the happiest of World Voice Days in 2021.